1st of September, Rabbi Levitt, Gemorah.
He's still able to watch cucumbers, even if you cut his hands off. Therefore, Shevet, the wages, Kol Yemei Halav. He gets wages for all the days that he's sick. Notain lo, you do give to him. What are those wages you give to him? Schar, Shimur, Kishuim, the wages of a cucumber washer.
Okay. We go back to the statement of Bava.
This next piece is also a part of it, the Shibor at Raglo, because that's the second part. I think the Shibor at Raglo, yeah, that's also part of it. That's when he broke the foot. When he broke the foot, he becomes a guard, someone who watches the entrances. He broke his foot. The shoe, and still, he's not fitting Lishmor Kishuim. He can't be. He's not fitting to be a cucumber watcher if his foot is broken. Sheshrich Halech Saviv Hagana. He still has to go do like guard duty, so to speak. He has to go around. He has to go around as a protection. So a cucumber watcher is a moving job, which you can't do if you have a broken foot. You could sit down and watch, but you can't be a cucumber watcher. You can be a gate. You can guard the entrance, so to speak, block the entrance.
Good. Okay. And now we go back to the statement of Rava, Sima, S-Eno. See where that is? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, 6 narrow lines from the bottom of the narrow lines. First words in the line is Esa Pesach.
We just turned the page in the art scroll to 85b3.
Oh, that's easy.
The top there.
Okay, Lou, you want to take over the reading?
Ima S. Ano blinded his eye. Nosein lo deme Ano. Give to him the value of his eye. Visheves, and for loss of employment, Ro'in oso ke'ilu hu matchinu v'rei chaim. Let's see, we view him as if he matchinu b'rei chaim is he ground the millstone.
Right, he does tochen. He does grinding. B'rei chaim, that's the grinder.
So we pay him compensation as if he was a worker in a place where they grind grain.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any Rashi about this. No, not yet. No Rashi yet.
Hair show. If you made him deaf, notain lo deme kulo. Give him the value of all of it.
Nezek to make kuloi, his whole value. To make kuloi, his whole value. We give him all of the whole value that of I guess what he would be sold for before being a cherish and afterwards. That's called demei kuloi. So the calculation of the nezek would be 100% nezek over here. So sounds like that would be the full value of a capable slave that was totally had no deficiencies whatsoever. That's what they would have to. That would be the figure of the nezek. What does Rashi say? Phil, you want to read the Rashi?
Yeah, where is it?
Dibra Maskil Hirshu is
We're up to the hair shoe, which makes him deaf.
yeah.
He makes him deaf. Now, why would he? Ain Roi L'Klum. He's not fitting for anything. Now, I don't know why a deaf person is not fitting for anything. I mean, yeah, I guess he can't hear the instructions to do anything, but it's really interesting that, you wonder at that time that they didn't have ways out of like you have nowadays of sign language and other ways of communicating with them.
Where is that Rashi?
Here, shoe.
Here's, oh, here's.
Just 3 words. Ain Rui, he's not fitting to do anything. L'Klum.
Yeah, I hear the question. Why is it that he's not fit for any type of a malacha now? The Levitt explains that the pshat is not because he's necessarily totally incapable of doing anything, but he needs to be hired by someone. And the Levitt explains that somebody who's a cherish, the person he doesn't want anybody like that to do anything for him, so they're not going to hire him. So if he can't, if he's not employable, so he can't get gainful employment. So then, so therefore, it's they have to compensate him 100% in the nezek. And the Meiri says about the same thing.
I have a comment that says a little differently. It says a deaf person is not fit for any work according to Rashi, and therefore is regarded as a dead man. Since he has lost all of his worth as a slave, he is paid his total injury value on the slave market for his physical damage and nothing for the loss of employment. Here too, Rava refers to someone who performed only menial labor. Becoming deaf prevents him from doing any work at all. But if the victim had been a skilled worker and can still do his job, which is possible even in the case of a deaf mute, according to the Rashba, his damage would be calculated in the usual manner. See Tosfos and Rosh.
Mhm. Okay. Tosus speaks about this. Hmm. Okay, good. So I mean, it would seem to be hard to disagree with Rashi in regard to what the Gemorah is talking about, because the Gemorah says that that we give him demei kuloi. So if in fact Rav is saying that Cherish is going to be given 100% of his what the value that he would have been sold for as a slave before this happened, assuming he was totally capable. So why would, if he's still capable of doing his labor, or if he's still capable of being, if somebody would hire him, so why would the Gemorah, why would Rava say that he's going to be given demei kuloi? So it would seem that Rashi's on the mark. That we got to say, at least in the case of this cherish that Rav is talking about, he's not fit for any type of work. So it would seem like that the Rashba and the Tosos and the others are saying, well, this may not be the case with every cherish that there is, but it would certainly seem to be the case with the cherish that our Gemorah is talking about. Since we give him a demei kuloi, we give him 100% of the value of his nezik. Okay, let's go further, and let's see. We go to boy Rava. Boy Rava, and Alan has not read yet, I don't think. Or else, oh, Roy, have you read?
Yes.
You've read. Okay, so Alan, have you read yet?
What page you on now? B3?
5, B3, left-hand column, second paragraph, the Gemorah now asks.
More now asks,
Uh,
what A, Rabba inquired, to pay us the dough below and more do so, who? If the assailant cut off the victim's hand, the judge did not assess him. Shiver S below, and afterward, before the hand healed, the assailant broke the victim's leg, and still did not assess him. She may S a no below a more, so to who And then before either of these entries were healed, the assailant blinded the victim's eye. Still, they did not assess it. However, it's true. Ultimately, the assailant made him deaf. Well, who? It's a law. Me in the non, but the law, and a more just do. We say that since until now they have not assessed the victim at all, for way, one assessment suffices for him. Way the maid to Wehu, Hade, Hadari, and the assailant gives him the payment of his entire value altogether. Doing more, Kadar, in the room, the non-way, or perhaps we assess the entries one by one and awarding his payment to each. This guy really got hit. Huh?
Okay, so the case that Rav is talking about is his hand was severed, but they didn't make the Beis Din didn't make any appraisal of the loss of the nezek, and then before they did anything, he suffered another injury, shibur es raglo, his leg, and they still didn't do anything. And then simas eino, and they didn't do anything. So now he's lost a hand, a foot, a leg, a eye, and they still didn't make any appraisal of his loss. And then they made him deaf. So Rabbi wants to know, what's the din in this case? What's the question over here? So Rabbi explains what his question is. Do we say that since they didn't make any appraisal of all the separate losses when they happened, so should we say b'chad umdina sagile, it'll be sufficient to just make one appraisal of the loss? And in that event, Yohiv leid to make kuloi, bahadi adode. That would mean that they would simply give him what a cherish gets. A cherish gets to make kulo. Someone who is made deaf as a result of the injury, he gets to make kulo. He gets the whole value of a eved sold on a healthy eved sold on the market. What's the alternative? O Dilma chada amdinan yavinan lay. Maybe, says Rava, since it all happened in four different times, they have to make a separate umdina at each interval. Even if they didn't do it yet, they still have to do it. They have to do a umdina, an appraisal of his loss that he suffered each time he suffered a loss. Now, is the amount going to be this? What's the nafkamina? Practically speaking, is he going to end up getting more damages that way? That's what the Gemorah is going to discuss in a minute. What's the nafkamina? What's the what's the difference? Whether we do it like that or we do it like that, is he going to get it? Right? There's got to be a practical halakhic difference. Otherwise, the Rava's question is basically irrelevant. And if Rav is asking the question, it's obviously not irrelevant. So what's the difference? How we do the assessment? We do it all at once, so we do it in four separate times. Rashi, do we have Rashi? Yeah, we have Rashi.
Rashi starts off to keep at yado below andohu. We cut off his hand and we don't assess the damage. Based in. The lower when we don't say lamazik to the damager, tain low, kach v'kach, give him so much. For the healing, kach v'kach, so much. Shevet, for the wages, v'tzar, the boshes, and for the loss of employment and the pain and the embarrassment, the akachach, and afterwards, she bare ed raglo, and he then broke his foot. Kodem sheyid rapeh, before he got better. We didn't do evaluation on the hand before the foot kicked in or got kicked out.
Okay. So that's what happened. So each time he would be getting a separate payment for all the nezek, and not I don't mean the nezek, I mean the doctor bills and the pain and work loss. Okay.
Why do you leave out Nezek?
And nezek, we would also it would seem that we would also talk about that too.
The nezek was the first part. When it said give him so much and so much, that's the nezek part. And then ripui, the healing, which is after the nezek amount, so much came to kach. And after that, shevet tzavaboshes afterwards. So
Rashi doesn't mention a payment of nezek over here, though.
I think the nezek is the first part when it says give him so much, and then mentions specifically ripui, kach. The healing so much. The first kach tainlo is the nezek payment.
Tainlo below amru lamazik tainlo kach v'kach. Ripui kach v'kach shevis. Saru boshes. Seems to me it's noticeably missing that he didn't say anything about nezek. Don't know why. In other words, the kach v'kach is going on the ripui. Give him kach v'kach ripui, then it says kach v'kach shevis, then it just says tsar and boshes. You don't have to say kach v'kach each time. But if you're going to mention more than one or two of them, you should mention all of them if they all apply. Why did Rashi not mention nezek? I don't know. It's funny. I mean, certainly there was permanent damage, cut to es yado. There would seem to be no question that that's going to get a payment of nezek, just like Rava himself said in the previous statement. Amar Rava cut to es yado, no sin lo de me yado. He certainly gets to me yado. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe Rashi means in addition to the Nezik, he's going to also, they're also going to make an appraisal on the other 4 things as well. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. Next Rashi. Chada Amdinen. So then yeah.
We evaluate them one by one. We do the evaluation. Even though the Benezek lo nafkalan mine, even though we about Nezek, we don't learn anything at all about it. The ha soap, because in the end, kol sha'ah, all the time, Olchim, we go, he goes with Hochim at the mouth. Hochim is what he goes, and he goes and lessons. It goes together. Hochim v'kochim. He goes and he lessens at the mo his value. Each time you break the next thing, each time you do something that it gets broken, it gets lessened with each item. Therefore, Dain Omer Kula, Dain Omer Kol Echad, whether we say that all of it, or just all, or we say all, each one, each one independently by itself. Mida Achad, it's only one measurement.
Oh, I get it. In other words, let's say the full value is $100,000. And let's say the value for a hand is $20,000. So if you take the hand by itself, then you give him $20,000.
Right.
Now, what's he worth? He's worth 80,000.
Right.
Now, if the next thing happens, let's say the next thing is he's deaf. So you'll give him 80,000. So if you add the 80,000 and the 20,000, you got 100,000. So if you just initially said, what's he worth? You'd say 100,000. It's the same. That's what it's saying.
Okay. So as far as the Nezik calculation, it's going to be the same whether you do it whether you do 4 different appraisals, whether you do one appraisal.
Right.
Be the same.
Right. But the other things would not be.
Right. In other words, if you only do, yeah. Right. Not to mention the fact that all of his loss of work, any shevis that he would pay, if you did it all at once, if you did one thing, I don't know. We'll have to see how it works.
The answer's coming up.
The answer's coming up.
Well, the shevis is difficult, but if we look at humiliation, so he's humiliated when he lost his hand.
But he's also humiliated when he loses his foot. Each one has a separate tsar. Each one could have a separate shevet. Each one could have a separate boshek. They could all be different. The only thing that's not going to matter down the line is the nezik. His end nezik is going to be the same whether you stop it at little steps or you make one total nezik value at the end.
If you make one value at the end for humiliation,
you can't make one value at the end.
You took 4 values for humiliation.
No, but you can't make that. What humiliation is for what's done by what was done to you. You can't have a view. Because how can you do one humiliation? Well, because it has to be break one up into parts. You got humiliated because this happened to you, and this happened to you, and this happened to you. And each one of these things is almost like a separate evaluation. It's not only one humiliation of losing your hand or losing your leg or losing your eye or becoming
Yeah,
deaf.
yeah. So even if you do it at one time, you're still going to have to take into account that there was 4 episodes of humiliation. So what's the difference whether you do it in 4 times? What's the difference between 4 times and 1 time? You're still going to have to assess 4 acts of humiliation. All right. Okay, so
Okay, it's time now, basically.
we're through.
Take care, be well.
Amen. You too, Phil. All the
Thank
best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Take care.
Amen. You too. Everybody do well. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too, Rabbi.